Hey, what's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to Factorio 101 with Mr. Berger. We are on episode 3, and the plan for today is basically we're going to try to set up some basic power. Now, you could jump right from setting up your basic power to making a main bus and, getting your whole bus and everything set up early on, especially if you're playing on peaceful mode without biters. But I'm really not too worried about that right now. One thing that I'll notice is I do want to keep all this running, and just so that we can, keep a basic understanding and concept of this game up, and the mechanics of it. This stuff is not getting any fuel because there's just not enough coal running down there. So in order to remedy that, let's make a few more burner mining drills. We have a few burner inserters, but we can make a couple more. And let's go ahead and we're just going to place a few more of these drills down. And of course my dog is going to decide to sit back there and grunt at this time. So if you guys hear her, that's what that is. And this isn't super necessary because we're going to expand really soon, but I just kind of want to keep things, how do I say this, educational, in the sense that if you are playing in whatever mode you're playing with biters, or if you're trying to get an early start and not expand with electricity super early on, I want to keep the basic coal concepts going. So what I did there is I just set some more mining drills down, and then I put a few more burner inserters to insert a little bit of coal into them, and so they will get the coal really soon, and then they will be able to produce some more coal for us, essentially. Now, one of the problems might be here that this is kind of bottlenecking it a little bit. This inserter, we only have one inserter pouring onto that belt. So if we really wanted to make sure that we have enough going down there, we could set it up so that another one is going to go onto that belt. But I do think that that's going to be enough for us really soon here. So let's go ahead and not worry about that too much. And once it does get running, then it'll definitely get us some more coal. Yeah, see, those are slowly but surely filling in. And once each one fills in, then that'll just increase the amount of coal that goes up there. So that is, continuing to answer demands basically in this game. So let's pick up all the stuff that we need right now. Let's get that copper. Let's get that stone. We can go ahead and get a little bit of iron if we have some more up here. And let's move on to doing a little bit of power. Now, there are various forms of power in this game. There's a few different ways that you can get power. You can do steam, you can do solar, you can do nuclear. But right now, we only really have one option, and that would be steam. So remember earlier how I was saying in the first episode, oh look, we got a nice little lake up there. That's going to be really helpful. It's come in handy right now. Oh yeah, you can get fish. If you right-click the fish, you pick it up. And that gives you raw fish. And if I do get into a scrap with some biters, it's basically a healing thing. So I'll put that way down there. I've never done this before because I never really play against biters. But I just thought about that because we were right there. So in order to set up power, we're going to need a few things. I like starting with 2 offshore pumps, so let's get 2 of those. Now, we're definitely going to need a bunch of pipes and a few pipe to grounds. So let's start by making a ton of pipes. And pipe to grounds, you see that they require 10 pipes each. So, some of those pipes are going to be turned into pipe to grounds. Alright, let's make about 20 of those, and then let's make a few more regular pipes. Now, the other stuff that we really need for power is going to be, where is it here? It's going to be in production. We're going to need a boiler, and for every boiler, we're going to need 2 steam engines. So let's just start off with the basics here. Let's do 2 boilers, 1, 2, 3, 4 steam engines. And we can really expand this in a lot of different ways. We could do it way more than this. We could do way more steam engines and boilers. But generally, just keep in mind you're going to do 2 steam engines per boiler. And I could set up a nice little excuse me, I cannot speak today. I could set up my own little version of the power if I wanted. But if you want to go online and get some blueprints, the most basic one, it's in Nilaus's Base in a Box blueprint book. But it's also very popular. It's used by a lot of different people. And he basically just took that and made it into a blueprint and put lights in there as well. Now, the belt portion of it, you want to be running coal on that belt. So just think about where your coal's coming from. You're going to be running it up to there from the south in this case. So I'm going to be having the belt facing upward. So we're going to go ahead and put the belt down right there. Or not the belt, but the entire blueprint, actually. And then we will deselect it with Q. Now, in Nilaus's blueprints, he puts constant combinators at the beginning, and that just shows you, if you look at the side of the screen here, the right side, in the info tab, the constant combinator has an output signal thing on the bottom right of that kind of little window there, and it tells you a certain resource or an item, and that's basically what he's saying you want to put onto that belt. So in this case, we know that we want coal on there, so we can get rid of that little guy. We'll just right-click it to remove it. Let's start by filling these belts. That's very simple. Now, we don't have basic inserters yet. We could make a few basic inserters. In fact, let's make a handful. But I like starting with a few burner inserters as well. And the reason for that is if you do, for some reason, miscalculate and run out of power, the inserters also run on electricity. So if you're sending coal down the line and you run out of power, the inserters shut off and can't pick up any more coal if you do manage to send more coal down the line. Whereas having a few burner inserters, they use that coal to power themselves as well. So it's not a bad idea to have a few in there to kind of, use as a backup in a sense, so that you'll always have some coal going in to power some of your power. In the meantime, we started with those offshore pumps and we got pipes. I like making another row here of stuff that I use for power and pipes and things like that. So I don't want to do it on number 2 because I might use that for something else. So let's go down to number 3. We'll put pipes as number 1. We'll put pipe to grounds as number 2. And we'll probably move these down later, but for now we can just put boilers there, steam engines there, and offshore pumps there. Okay, so let's start by putting a pipe in there. We could also just do a pipe to ground, but we'll just follow the blueprint. We'll put a pipe in there. And then let's put a pipe to ground on each of these facing outward. And you can see once you put a pipe to ground, it's the same thing with the underground belts. It'll automatically put the opposite side, the input or the output, whichever it may be, facing the other direction. And as long as you're seeing those, kind of dotted lines there, that dotted yellow line, then it's in the right spot. If I move it to the left or to the right, it has to be perfectly in line with the other one. If I move it off to the side there, then it'll break that line, and there's no more connection there, and they won't be putting the same fluid into each other or out of each other or whatever. So we are going to line those up. We're going to get them real close to the water, and we can fill the rest in with pipes if we need. But first, let's put our 2 offshore pumps in, and we're gonna have to find a spot for them. Oh, they can only put themselves on a certain spot, so that's fine. We can adjust to that really easily. We'll put one right here, and we'll put one right here. So then we can hover over this, press Q to select it. We'll rotate it in the other direction. And I can't connect it directly on like that because then it won't be connected to this offshore pump, or to this pipe to ground, excuse me. So I need to have it facing the opposite direction of this one, but still in line with it. Not necessarily parallel to it, but on the same line as it actually. And if I put it up too high, it's not going to be able to connect. So I'm actually going to put it one space lower than the offshore pump. And then I'm just going to put a pipe in that little spot there. And pipes automatically rotate and snap onto whatever's next to them. So you don't need to rotate them pretty much ever. I don't think it even does anything. So that one is connected there. We got water there. Next thing that we're going to do is put the other pipe to ground up here. And we'll just put it as far as we can go. And then we'll just fill that last bit in with pipes rather than trying to snake a little pipe to ground. There's just not enough space for it. It's unnecessary. And you can see the water flowing in there in that little I guess window there. And also if you scroll over a pipe or a pipe to ground, you can see what's in it by that little window on the right there. Different kind of window, but on the very right of the screen there, you can see that it's got water in it with the temperature, so on and so forth. All right, next thing that we're gonna need is, well, let's do one regular inserter. We just press Q, we got one of those guys, and you can see he needs power. We don't have any power yet. So let's do our 2 boilers and our 2 steam engines. So 1 boiler there, 1 boiler there. 4 steam engines, excuse me. Steam engine, and then 1 here and 1 here. All right, so that is our basic power setup. And we might as well fill out the blueprint. So while we're doing everything else, let's make 2 more boilers and 4 more steam engines. And you can put in lights right there. I am playing with Afraid of the Dark. I guess we don't have the light yet. Oh, we don't even have the research done yet. So we won't worry about the lights for now. I'll just leave those for now. We are going to need some electric poles, so let's go ahead and scroll over that guy right there. And, oh, this is really nice. I got to show this to my girlfriend. She always has trouble with placing down electric poles. I know that if you click and hold anything like an electric pole, it'll just place them as far out as they can go without breaking from each other and still being connected, and it'll automatically place them around trees and things like that that are in the way. But I learned from watching one of Catherine of Sky's videos that if you click and hold like a power pole or like an underground belt or something in a blueprint, it'll only put them where they belong. So that's pretty cool to know. I wonder if it works to... Yeah, no, see, it doesn't work with that. That'll automatically put the steam engine down wherever I place it. So let's go ahead and we got all the power poles down. We got the new boilers and new steam engines. We got everything we need except coal. So we're going to run coal up here, but in the meantime, since we're running down there, let's go ahead and run power poles too. So like I said earlier, just a little while ago, we're going to run it out to the furthest spot, and we're going to click and hold. And then he'll automatically, our little guy will automatically place power poles, you know, the furthest that they can go from each other while still being connected and run along with us. So it's a really useful tool. So in order to run coal up there, I really want splitters, but we don't have them yet. So we're going to do 2 little burner inserters here. And we're just going to run more belts. And we're going to need more belts. So let's make a bunch of belts. And what we're doing is just running this up to there. We're getting the coal connected to that. So if you like having it perfect, you could run up here and run down directly and then curve it right at the right spot. If you're not too worried about it, you can just kind of eyeball it and run it to about here, you know. You can see that's almost in line. If you really want to follow it down, you can. It'd be right about there. So we'll run it up a little like this, and we'll just kind of curve it over to the right a couple spots, and then we'll run it all the way up again. And I don't know, we'll see if that's perfect. Yeah, it looks like it was. And now we should have coal, which should give us power. And then that'll power pretty much everything else. So let's just wait a second for the coal to come in here, and you guys will see what I mean. If you want to jump start it, I have some coal in my inventory, so we could dump some in there. Let's go ahead and do that to power each of these guys. And the coal goes into the boilers. And you can see that once the coal gets here, the inserters are going to be putting in there as well. They're not working right now because I put a bunch of coal in there. So let's actually take everything out real quick. And you can see, yeah, now the inserters are working. Now they're putting coal in there, and they're filling up all those boilers, which are powering the steam engines, and then we have power running wherever we run these power poles. So anything that's placed around these little, colored in squares around the power poles now will have power, and pretty much anything else in the rest of the game uses some sort of power. Not everything, but most things use some kind of power. Generally, they're fueled by electricity, unless it's something that you put like coal or fuel or whatever into. Nice thing about this blueprint is if we get it again, steam power, you can just put it right on top of each other, put them right on top of each other, and they'll line up perfectly. And you can check if it's perfect by seeing if the power poles line up, and they will, and the belts too in this case, and it'll give you that darker blue or purple, whatever color that is, square there. And then that'll show you that it's lined up, and you can click it or you can shift click it if something's in the way, and you can see that everything else is put down just below that, and you can run a whole bunch of those if you wanted. So if I wanted to put a bunch of them, let's see, just keep doing that essentially. Just put it where it's like connected to, and I mean you guys get the point. You would put it there, and then you would go down further and put it there and keep going, and then you could get a whole line in them and run them really far down. But I'm using Control Z, by the way. You can use Control Z to undo ghosts or blueprints. I don't want that many right now. We'll just leave the one blueprint or ghost for the second row there, the second line there, if we want to expand that in the future. But right now we've got plenty of power. You can see if you click on a power pole, consumption, satisfaction, production, and accumulator charge. We don't have any accumulators yet, so I'm not worried about that. The production and satisfaction aren't doing anything right now because we don't have anything that's using power. So let's go ahead and just set up something real basic to use power. Let's get an electric mining drill because we can use that now. And let's get a stone furnace. And we, as I said, we always need more iron, so let's go ahead and do iron. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a regular inserter as well. And let's put some of this stuff on our taskbar. I'm going to just put it here for now. And I'll probably move this stuff later. I just want to get them out there for now. So we want to have we still need coal for the furnace to burn that. But let's make it a little bit more complicated. We'll have the electric mining drill up here, right? And he'll be mining iron, and then we'll run belts maybe down here, and he'll be mining iron to run it onto that belt down there. And you can see he doesn't need any coal. He's got power. He's got electricity now. And then down here we're gonna put a stone furnace. We'll put it right about there, and we'll bring this one right here. And this is a really sloppy, just makeshift kind of setup. You wouldn't normally be doing it like this. There's a much better setup that I'll be showing you guys soon, probably in the next episode or coming up a little bit later. But for now, we're just kind of getting the sense of how the electricity works. So what I need is two things. Well, first of all, I need to put coal from this line here into the furnace. I could use a burner mining drill that'll power itself with coal, but burner inserter. But regular inserters are a little bit faster and better, and they use electricity. So you'll notice that now it's getting that little electric plug kind of sign popping up. That just means it doesn't have electric power. So what we're going to do is just put another power pole to power that inserter there. And as long as it's connected with wires, it'll be connected to your network. If you put it out too far like that, then nothing under there will be getting power because it's not connected to your electric network. And then in that same concept, we've got that pole there that can also power this inserter. And that now you're getting the line of iron ore, and it's pouring into the the furnace. And then on this side, you're getting a little bit of coal, and that's also pouring into the furnace. And now, since we have all this power, we can do a third inserter if we wanted. It's not powered since we don't have this thing close enough to it, so we'll just put another one down here to power it. Or maybe up there, kind of get it out of the way. And that gives us iron plates on a belt. And now everything's powered and automated. It goes directly with the power. It goes from the mining drill, the electric mining drill, onto the belt, down to the furnace, and it's inserted onto the furnace with inserters that also use power. And then we got the furnace, which is then making it into plates. And then we got another inserter pulling it out of the furnace and putting it onto this nice little line of iron plates here. And then we can start pulling things off of that to make more things with the iron. We can automate more stuff real soon. But for the time being, let's just make an iron chest that can hold a little bit more than a wooden chest. We'll just put it at the end of the line here. And we're going to put another inserter. If you run the belt without the inserter, it'll just stack up on the belt like that. But if we have an inserter there, it'll insert it into the chest. We need power over there, so we're just going to run power as far as we can and connect it. So, oops, too far. So that it powers that. And now this guy is just going to be stacking up even more iron for us. So we've got iron stacking up there. We've got iron, let's press Alt, there we go. Iron stacking up there, iron stacking up there. We've got all these guys down here, which are also stacking up iron. I mean, I got a whole ton of iron in my inventory right now, which is great, because I'm going to need it all. And then isn't there like another spot? Oh no, it's like the stone and everything that we had. But that's fine, we need more stone. Put some more coal into that guy to power it. We'll get a little bit of copper. And we got this automated down here as well. Nice little bit of copper to start us off for some more electric poles, and soon some other stuff as well. We're going to be making a ton of circuits really soon. But I mean, that is pretty much it, guys. I mean, that's a nice little basic power setup. We got the power set up with the pipe to ground, the offshore pump to get us started rather, and then pipes, and then pipe to grounds and run them out to the boilers, which then run to the steam engines. And then we insert some coal into those boilers as well, and that gives us power. We put the electric poles, they've got to be, actually, I got to point this out, they got to be connected to the steam engine for it to provide the power. That's why we've got one on each steam engine, or else we won't be getting the power from that steam engine. And then we ran the electric poles all the way down to where we started mining and smelting. And then we just did a few kind of basic starter setups here using the electricity to automate mining and then pouring into the furnace and then smelting. Well, actually the smelter itself is powered by the coal still, but we're inserting coal into the stone furnace via electricity. And then of course it's dumping out onto this set of belts here, or this long belt here, and pouring into a nice little chest for us. So that is it for episode 3, guys. Focused mostly on setting up basic power. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end here. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. And of course, if you didn't, that's fine. You can leave it a thumbs down. I don't mind. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section below. If you have any questions, if I'm not any clear, or if I'm not very clear, or I could be more clear on some of this, please feel free to let me know. I want to make sure that you guys fully understand it. If you are new to this game, I'm trying to kind of take it slow and explain everything that I'm doing to an extent. And then once we get the ball rolling further down, you know, I'll be able to just kind of put stuff down and not worry too much about, you know, pointing every little thing out. Because by then you guys will kind of have the hang of it if you've been watching from the beginning. Alright guys, of course if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. I'm going to be covering Factorio more and more. Thanks so much for watching guys, and have a good night.